I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain for Investment Pitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Jan Pecinovsky, the head of business development at SatoshiLabs. Jan, thanks so much for being on the show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hello, Ashton, and thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Let's kick it off by talking about your team's crypto hardware wallet, the Trezor. If you could start by explaining a little bit to people that are entering into the cryptocurrency space, why is security so important and offline storage using products like the Trezor?
Well, it's a very good question. Cryptocurrencies, as any other assets, they can be stolen and or you can easily lose access to them. But unlike in the fiat banking system, there is no central authority which would help you to regain access to your funds in case you lose access, or would help you to retrieve back the money in case of somebody stole it. In the crypto space, there is a saying, "Not your keys, not your coins," and it's very true. So when you start to think about how to secure your keys, you find out that there are multiple options. There are paper wallets, which are nice, but they are difficult to spend. There are software wallets, software applications, mobile applications, but they are running on your computer, which you cannot consider secure because it's not open source. Also, they are running on an operating system. So they are good for keeping a little amount of money, but you can't trust it with your full stack. Sorry. There are also centralized services such as exchanges. The problem with them is they tend to be targets of hacking attacks because there's plenty of money concentrated in one space. So the hackers they don't need to focus on they don't need to hack many individuals, but you just need to hack one service. Also, like, there is a risk of potential the service is shut down by the provider, and then you lose the access to your coins. So the founders of our company, they've seen people losing access to their coins too many times before, and that's why they came up with the idea of a hardware wallet, which is basically a simple computer which generates the private keys and signs the transactions for you. So yeah.
That's great. And so, as you say, there are many different ways to store cryptocurrencies, but they all have unique risks involved with them. Now, with the Trezor Hardware wallet, is the main focus, I'm guessing, is security, but does that sacrifice convenience? And is it just as easy to use as it would be some of these convenient ways, but they may be more risky?
Well, no, no. Of course, like, you don't want to sacrifice the security to get the ease of use. Some projects might do that, but we definitely don't. We are trying always to find a way how to improve the security while keeping it easy to use. The Trezor was very first hardware wallet, so we've developed many new standards along the way, and which has been adapted by the whole industry and by our competitors as well. Trezor is open source, so you can actually check what it is, that it does what we say it's supposed to do. Also, we are focusing on small things such as transaction and address labeling. So, for example, you don't have to keep like an Excel sheet in order to track the transactions, but you can label receiving addresses, so you know who sent you those money and what you spent the money on.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that you guys were the first crypto wallet, but there are other competitors as well, which is great to have variety and diversity when you're choosing how to store your crypto. But what would you say is the competitive advantage or the main reason that Trezor is one of the most popular options?
Well, as I said already, we are first. So basically, when you create an industry, then you have a good name already because, as I mentioned, we developed the new standards. So we have this like a good name in the community already. And yeah, being open source, that's definitely important.
Hmm.
Another important thing is we are driven by the community. Um, and we focus on the community.
Yeah.
So we just really listen to what do people want. We focus on make it easy for them to use it.
Hmm.
And we have Trezor supports over 1,000 coins. Um, and if yeah, we recently Trezor became like a multifunctional device. Really is except just storing the coins. You can also use it to as a password manager or for a secure authentication token via the U2F or FIDO2 standards. We have an in-wallet built-in buy Bitcoin and exchange features, which is really convenient for the users and so on.
That's great. And I was just going to ask you, if there were more features than just being able to store your coins. And I know you guys have expanded the variety of coins which are on different blockchains and brought more compatibility so you can store a bunch of different coins now. You mentioned you have like 1,000 coins, which is great. But on the security side, you mentioned open source, and for a lot of people, just to break it down into layman's terms, I believe the competitive advantages of open source is that you can see the source code in which the Trezor application, everything on the source code to ensure that there's no backdoor, to ensure nobody else is getting your codes, and that nobody has access to view what your amounts are or what your codes are. Is that right? And could you elaborate on the other security features which protect people's funds?
Okay. Being open source means the source code of the product, source code of the product is open source, and everybody can check that the product does what we say it does. So independent researchers and security experts can verify that it's really doing what it's supposed to do. That's very important question. You don't offer people a black box which they have no way how to check how their money are secured. And regarding the security, I would say it's always balance between the safety and the usability. We try to make Trezor versatile, so it would offer an options for everybody. It offers like a basic security features, but also the more advanced ones for those people who want to take an extra care. And it always depends on what is your potential risks and what are the scenarios which can put you in danger and in your money. So I would say the basic feature is a PIN which protects your device from physical misuse. For example, if you are at the cafe and you leave your Trezor connected to your computer and you just leave the bathroom, so nobody can come and misuse your Trezor while you are not present. There is a passphrase which protects your Trezor from remote attacks. So let's say that your recovery seed is compromised. The attacker would need to know this additional information in order to be able to access your funds. And the most recently added feature is a Shamir backup, which basically protects the physical security, the recovery seed. And during the initialization process of the Trezor device, when the recovery seed is created, it will give you an option to create multiple shares of the seed, and then you need, for example, 3 out of 5 in order to recover the funds. Otherwise, one of the interesting features is, of course, like the hardware wallets. Most of them have a screen which works in a way that even if your computer is infected with the malware and and you want to send money somewhere, you create a transaction on your computer, and it will look like that you are sending it to the address you want to, but on your Trezor on the screen you will see that you are actually sending it somewhere else. So that should give you a heads up and information that the transaction is not what you want.
Definitely, yeah. I've seen when people transact with the Trezor, you know the screen is sort of the fail-safe. You can see on the screen if somebody has manipulated your computer screen and changes the address. There's a copy of the address that you're sending it to on the Trezor, and as well, when you're typing in the PIN, you're looking at the numbers on the Trezor screen, and you're not typing in the numbers on the keyboard, which if somebody was hacking into your computer, they would be able to see your keystrokes, but they can't tell what the numbers are on the screen. So that's very secure. And that's been implemented since the very first Trezor. And I did use the Trezor myself a few years back when you guys originally created it. And I recently grabbed the new model right here, which is the Model T, which is that you guys more recently came out with. Can you explain a little bit about the upgrades that were made to the Model T, and if the original Trezor is just as good for everybody who's looking to get into cryptocurrency?
Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned, it offers like various levels of security. The main difference between the Trezor 1 and Trezor Model T is that there is a different software stack. The most visible thing, but that's in the background. But the most visible thing is definitely the touchscreen. That's a very good point what you mentioned. When we do the innovations and we try to iterate between the models, we always try to focus on things and look at them from a different perspectives. So is there a way how we can improve security and usability at the same time? That would be the best, of course. Definitely. And the touchscreen is exactly this kind of feature, because it's not just it doesn't just like look better, but it also makes it easier to use, because you can type in the things directly on the screen. So like your PIN or even your passphrase, or even you can do the recovery on the screen directly. But it's also more secure, because you don't have to type it on the computer. Like even on the Trezor 1, the PIN was always crumbled, and like every time you entered the PIN, it's shuffled randomly. On the Trezor T is the same, but you even don't enter it on the computer. The same with the passphrase, the same with the recovery seed. You just type it in directly on the screen, and it's a big improvement.
Yeah, that's super great. And you guys are constantly working at improving the security and the functionality. Could you give a sneak peek on what does the roadmap look like for 2020 in terms of new products or new updates that you're making to the current products?
Last year we've developed plenty of important and interesting features, such as Blockbook, the FIDO2, hell. Sorry, is it?
What are you guys looking at for the 2020 roadmap updates? Do you guys have more products, or are you just focusing on sales?
Sorry. In the 2020, in the upcoming months, you will be able to see the Trezor Suite, which is a standalone app, desktop app, which will allow you to manage your crypto without the need of actually using the web wallet. There will be some more projects which I unfortunately cannot tell you much about now, but stay tuned, because it's gonna come in the upcoming months, and it's gonna be interesting.
Awesome, Jan. And if people are looking to follow along so they can hear about the updates right when they happen, what's the best way to follow your guys' project and learn more information?
I would definitely recommend you visit the Trezor.io product page, where you can find the link on the blog and on the wiki, which are both really well written, and visitors can learn a lot about Bitcoin, about Trezor, about security. You can also subscribe to the newsletter there. You can also check our social networks such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on.
Great. Well, I'll leave those links in the description box below for the viewers. And thank you so much, Jan, for coming on the show. That's all the time that we have for this interview, but let's follow up in the near future with SatoshiLabs.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you, and have a good day.
Thank you.